Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I'm going to be right with you. Take a second and look at this. Do a screenshot on your computer, on your phone, whatever you need to do, because I'm going to go through this with you guys. I'm not going to take that long to do it. I don't think it will require us that much time. But I'm going to give you guys a lot of resources and my thoughts on how I would approach thyroid autoimmunity, Hashimoto's and Graves', but really what I'm going to share with you guys, this framework could be applied to supporting any autoimmune condition. Okay, so we'll start that in just a second. So I'm going to get out of the way. Okay guys, let's go ahead and talk about what's on the board here. Let me see what's going to be my color. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to do with you guys is I really wanted to go through just like what might you want to consider doing if you have Hashimoto's, or you have Graves' disease, or you have an autoimmune condition. And really what I'm trying to teach you here, and I give you resources and ideas on, are how you can help yourself. And that's really, there's so many people that need this information. I decided, you know what, let's write it out and let me just explain to you how I might approach this if I was working with someone. Okay, so this framework has helped a lot of people. And it's really where I would suggest you look at this and you consider if this is a good starting point for you. Okay, so let's just start with number one. So we're going to look at this as a framework, like how might you want to approach this. I mean, first of all, the obvious thing is you want to get a good diagnosis. You want to know, like, really the best you can what's happening. If you have a lot of symptoms, then this is an obvious thing, but you want to get this investigated by someone. Someone needs to look into this and see if they can't help you figure out what's happening. Now, most people that I work with have already been to a primary care physician, or PCP, and or an endocrinologist. Okay, so this is, usually you need to be worked up medically, and then most of the people that I see, they have been, and it's just, it's not helping them enough. Okay, so if you haven't had, if you know you're hypothyroid, you don't feel well, you're having problems, all of the symptoms associated with hypothyroidism, if you're having any of those issues, or you just don't feel well, then one of the things that you need to have done, if you haven't, is you need to have your thyroid antibodies checked. Now, if you're interested in getting thyroid antibodies checked and you can't get them up, right, you need to see your primary care or an endocrinologist, and they need to do their workup. They need to figure out, at least look at what's happening. If you're hypothyroid, but they won't check anything but maybe, let's say, TSH, and you're still not feeling better with medications, or you just want to investigate it further, then the next step might be thyroid antibodies. Let's say that would be a reasonable next step to investigate it, because we know if you're hypothyroid, we know that you're hypothyroid if you have a high TSH. Like, that's how it's defined medically. You have a high TSH, that's hypothyroidism. If you're hypothyroid, the research shows there's about a 90% chance. So a 9 in 10 chance that you're actually going to be autoimmune. Okay, so that's a good place to start. Get a diagnosis is critical, right? So I guess I can't really interact with you like I normally would, just because there are, I can't see you. I had to turn my phone around, and there's no way that I can see the comments. So I don't even know how many people are on here. If I'm by myself, then someone can watch this later. Hopefully it helps you out. So step one, get a diagnosis. 2 is going to be diet, right? So what are we going to do for diets? Like, what type of diet might help with autoimmunity? Well, the thing that we've seen help a lot of people is going to be like autoimmune paleo, right? AIP. Autoimmune paleo, the reason that it seems to work is because the research that's been done and what we believe drives autoimmune processes are going to be 3 categories of things. Partially digested food proteins, okay, so foods basically, chronic infections, and then the third thing is going to be environmental chemicals. So an autoimmune paleo diet removes all the processed foods from your diet. So these foods are very high in nutrients. They're very nutrient-dense foods, which the standard American diet is very deficient in. And then they also remove a lot of the very common foods that we see people reacting to. They're having immune responses to them. And I'm not going to get into all the nuances of what an immune response is, but I will say this one thing. A lot of you go to your doctors and say, hey, I want to get tested for food sensitivities. And the doctor looks at you and says, there's no reason to do that, there's no point. And if they do check you, they're going to check you for IgE antibodies, most of them. IgE is not what we're looking for. See, that's an immunoglobulin. And basically the way to think of this is there are different types of immunoglobulins. It's basically relates to the immune system, and it will help you to identify if the immune system is reacting to something. So IgE it corresponds and correlates with anaphylactic type of responses, right? So peanuts and those types of allergies where your tongue and your throat swell and it's very quick and immediate, right? That's what your physicians, primary care physicians, are primarily dealing with. A lot of them are not checking IgA or IgG or even IgM immunoglobulins, okay? That's what we're looking at with food sensitivities. Now, the AIP diet tends to remove a lot of the common foods that are in the standard American diet. It's full of nutrient-dense foods, so full of minerals, full of vitamins, full of phytonutrients and things that you need to help your body, okay? So, very good thing to do. AIP, you guys can look it up. You know what? You want to see some books? Let me show you some books here. How about, and by the way, hold on, let me pull out a few books here. I think most of my books are at home. A lot of my books are at home, or I have copies of these. I'm going to show you guys some books, some AIP books. And by the way, no one's paying me for any of this stuff. I want to show you guys some resources that you can go to. I'm going to talk to you about resources throughout this entire video. So, autoimmune paleo books. First of all, you can Google AIP diet or autoimmune paleo. You'll find on Pinterest, meal plans, food lists, you name it, right? But there's some great books out there that we've used and that I used, and I've got more at home than I have here. But let me show you one that we've loved, my staff and I have loved. Practical Paleo, all right? Fantastic book. We love it. Awesome book. I've used it. I mean, it's helped so many people. Practical Paleo is a great paleo book. Here's one that I really like that came out. I've got several of, I think this is Elena Haber and Sarah Ballantyne. Now, I've got several of Sarah Ballantyne's books. She's amazing. There's a lot of people that have written some fantastic books like this, okay? I love this book too. I mean, this is an awesome book, the way that they broke it up, and it's just amazing. The pictures, everything is great. Great book for paleo, okay? Autoimmune paleo. I like this book quite a bit. The Hashimoto's Cookbook. This is a great book too. And my wife just bought, I hope I'm not saying this wrong, I think it's Tracy Prescott. It's a brand new book that just came out. And it's a paleo book that revolves around parties. And they have like a Super Bowl menu and stuff in there. And we just got that. My wife was so impressed with it. I don't think my staff has seen that. Alicia or Andy have seen that yet. So I know they're going to want to take a look at that book. And so those are some great books for autoimmune paleo, right? Those are great ways. You can search online. There's tons of resources. Great place to start. Guys, that's free information that you can just go and you can start researching, and you'll get into the next thing. We'll get organized in a minute, but that's what you want to consider doing. Now, I've worked with people for years and years trying to help them support their thyroid. So we've obviously utilized diets, and we've utilized lifestyle recommendations and even nutritional supplementation with people. And what I did was I taught so much, and we refined our process in the office so many times that I decided that I was going to take our dietary approach, our supplemental approach, and our lifestyle approach, and I was going to record videos like this and put it into a program. So that's what we did. And it's called the 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program. Some of you guys may know about it, but what we did was we put it there so that people could, we didn't have to spend 2 hours trying to cram all this information into an appointment where someone's mind is just so full, right? So we put it into a 10-module course where you spend about an hour a week over 6 weeks going through the course with a guidebook and a video walkthrough of me teaching you everything in the program. So I was able to be a lot more thorough, give you more information, give you more resources, and present it in a way that made sense. So you could have organization tips, meal planning, all these things, and I could walk you through it. Now, if you're interested in that, you can check that out. That's at thyroidprogram.com. So you just go to thyroidprogram.com, and you'll see all you have to do there is this will actually take you to a page where you can enter to win it for free. We give it away. We give 2 copies of this program away per month to people that are interested in it, and you can go there, and I would just suggest just you can enter to win it, and then you can actually, I'm just going to tell you guys, like the program that we have is usually a few $100s, okay? But what we're doing is, as part of, we're evolving, and what we're trying to do is help as many people as we can. So we're going to do stuff like this, but you can also get it at a huge discount there if you want it. But that's a way that, we'll hold your hand a little bit. But look, AIP is completely free. You can get some wonderful cookbooks. There's tons of resources. There's tons of groups. So, I just want you guys to know this is a good framework, okay? So get a diagnosis, see your doctors. If you don't have them done yet, thyroid antibodies. You can get thyroid antibodies checked at thyroidantibodytest.com. Diet would be the second step that I would tell you if you're autoimmune, for sure. An autoimmune paleo approach. If you're interested in like a program that we put together, you can go at thyroidprogram.com. But then the next thing you want to do, so you get in your mind, all right, I've been to my doctor. I got an idea of what's going on here. I'm going to try a dietary approach. So you start researching AIP. The next thing you want to do is you want to consider, are there any nutritional supplements or herbs that could complement my dietary approach? Because what we find is that people that have autoimmunity, a lot of times, it's compounded. They have numerous things that are going on at one time. So they might have, not everyone, but a lot of people have heard of leaky gut or intestinal permeability, where they have this problem with their digestive tract. That is probably, the safest place for most people to start. And I say safest, but you're going to get the most improvement if you begin there. For most people, especially if you're autoimmune. And what I mean by that is begin there is supporting nutritionally the digestive tract. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some ideas on a framework on something, an approach that we've used routinely in our office. But listen, everyone's going to be unique, so I'll talk to you a little bit more about how you can better figure out what might be best for you as far as nutritional supplementation. But so consider supplementation. So let me give you guys some ideas of supplementation. I'm going to step over here out of the way so I can show you. So consider supplementation. Here's a framework for, let's say this would be a person that's autoimmune. This could be someone that's autoimmune and they have some digestive problems. Okay, like IBS or diarrhea or constipation. They feel like they bloat when they eat foods. They just seem like they're reacting to foods. Okay, so they would, number one, I would say that you need a good multivitamin to fill in the nutrient potholes. That's a good analogy I like to use, to make sure that the biochemistry can occur, right? So a multivitamin, step one, to just fill in deficiencies as good as we can so that biochemistry can occur. Step two, a good omega-based fat, okay? So this is like an essential fatty acid. Now, if someone has, I'm going to give you some general recommendations or ideas on omega fats, okay? Essential fatty acids. If someone has high blood sugar and they're insulin resistant, they do better with fish oils, okay? Or animal-based essential fatty acids. If someone is hypoglycemic, they tend to do better with plant-based oils, like flaxseed oil, primrose oil, those types of things. It helps with the blood sugar, okay? So omegas. Omegas also help with insulin sensitivity, hormone production, anti-inflammatory, steroid hormone production. All your hormones are dependent upon cholesterol, so you have to have fat, right? You have to have good fats, and most of the American diet is full of these inflammatory fats called omega-6 fats. So we're looking at omega-3s and different types of fats that we want to get in there. Okay. So the next thing, so 2 supplements, multi, and then an omega, like an essential fatty acid. Then vitamin D would be the next thing. Now, why vitamin D? Well, vitamin D, a lot of people and most people are deficient. And with vitamin D, one of the things that it does that's especially helpful with autoimmunity is that it helps to improve immune system regulation. And that's critical. Vitamin D helps with regulatory T cell production. The regulatory T cells are immune system cells that help the immune system balance itself. So if you're autoimmune and your body's attacking itself, vitamin D is critical, okay? So you need to make sure that your vitamin D levels are optimal. So that might be a third supplement. Now, these two are actually, it's actually 3 here, but these supplements would be related to digestive function. So someone that has, some digestive complaints, constipation, possibly diarrhea, of course they've been medically worked up, right? I'm not telling you guys to do any of these things without someone working you up and looking at your problems. Don't self-treat yourself, That's not what I'm advocating here at all. You have to be seen by your doctor. That's why step one is get a diagnosis, right? So that's not just thyroid. That's like if I'm having digestive problems, if I'm severely fatigued, whatever it might be, see the doctor first. These are ideas on how I might support someone with that's autoimmune and that has, let's say, digestive problems, okay? So this is not for you, but this is how I might support a case, okay, or someone's health. So digestive enzymes. Now, digestive enzymes are really important for immune system protection, to help support the immune system. So for one thing, digestive enzymes help to break down food proteins more thoroughly, okay, and food proteins are broken down into amino acids. So digestive enzymes have this, they can have a benefit to your immune system in that they improve your tolerance to the foods you eat so that you don't have an immune response to them. And this is how it works. The enzymes, if you take additional enzymes, they will help to digest the protein in foods break them down into their building blocks, which are called amino acids, okay? Your immune system will not react to the amino acids, but your immune system will react to a food protein that's been cut in like two, and there are some still amino acids joined together like a chain with like 4 or 5 links, okay? And if your gut is inflamed and you have leaky gut or permeability of the gut wall, then those partially digested food proteins, which we call peptides, they may be able to pass through the GI tract wall into the bloodstream, triggering an immune response because the immune system doesn't recognize or know what it is. So these enzymes, what they do is they help to thoroughly break that protein down into amino acids, which are small enough that they should pass through the GI tract wall into the bloodstream. And your body uses those amino acids to rebuild and carry out its processes. So this not only helps you to break down the food so that you can extract the nutrients, but it also helps you to improve immunoregulation, okay, immune system regulation. So very good idea. Digestive enzymes for most people are a good idea. Now, some people that have, you guys, you have to really, I'm not telling you to do this individually, but so here's a situation. Someone may have like a very thin gastric lining. There's a lot of different reasons that people can have different presentations, and you wouldn't want to take enzymes with a very thin gastric lining where you don't have a very good mucosal layer, because these enzymes could actually irritate your gut wall, okay, your stomach or your gut wall. But they can be very helpful. We find that in the majority of people that we work with, they're very helpful. So the next thing is going to be L-glutamine and zinc carnosine. Okay. Now L-glutamine and zinc carnosine are really two different a mineral and amino acid that I use to help support healing of the GI tract wall. Okay. So if there's leaky gut or if there's inflammation, L-glutamine tends to help nourish the enterocytes, or the cells that line the small intestine and large intestine. Okay, so it kind of gives it fuel, so it can help it rebuild. Okay, and improve your leaky gut. Now the zinc carnosine tends to seal the gut wall. So if it's leaky, it kind of plugs some of those holes and improves decreases the permeability a bit. So it's kind of like zinc will seal it and L-glutamine helps to heal it. So seal and heal the gut, break down the foods so you have less reactivity to them, which, remember, what are the things that drive autoimmunity, in theory, that we approach? Partially digested food proteins. The other thing are going to be chronic infections and then environmental chemicals, right? 3 things primarily. We do have to consider hormones, we do have to consider cortisol, but things that really trigger the immune response, those are going to be the primary things. So if we're taking a lot of stuff out of the diet that could be inflammatory and promote the autoimmunity, if we're using digestive enzymes that help to break down any foods that we may still be eating or exposed to that could trigger an immune response, that could improve what we call oral tolerance and decrease our reactivity to food. If we're using L-glutamine potentially and zinc carnosine, that could seal and heal the gut and help us to repair the gut wall. So we're doing all these things to improve the barrier systems, break down the things that our immune system would react to, and we're eating foods that are very dense in nutrition, so they're very high in nutrients, high in minerals, so our physiological processes can work better. They're anti-inflammatory, they help improve immune system regulation, and then you've got You've got these great fats that are anti-inflammatory, that are helping with insulin sensitivity. You've got vitamin D that's improving immune regulation. You've got a multivitamin that's helping fill in these nutrient potholes so everything works better. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's just like, how can we optimize your physiology and how can we help you? That's how. This is a very good approach, guys. This is what I've used, and this is what has helped people that have similar problems to like Hashimoto's, Graves', autoimmunity. So what I wanted to share with you guys is, so you can consider doing something like this, right? What I've done is, the thing is, it becomes overwhelming. Like, what supplementation might I consider, right? What might I need? Because you've got tons of people selling everything out there. So what I like to do, and what I do in practice, whether I'm working with someone distance consulting client or I'm working with someone in the office, what we try to do is we always do an assessment. So we use forms that help us to determine different areas of the body or different physiological processes that may be having some difficulty or that may be breaking down. Okay, let's say that. So, for example, our questionnaire will look at the colon, which is the large intestine, and it will help us to evaluate if there's some dysfunction there. So, it's obviously, if you're constipated and you're not having bowel movements for 4 or 5 days, that's a problem, guys. That's going to promote growth of yeast, bacteria. That's going to set up your gut for all kinds of problems. Okay, you've got to move your waist daily, like daily. So if we see dysfunction there, or if there's diarrhea 3 times a day, those are all things that we have to address that gut issue. So there's a lot of different areas in there. There's adrenal gland function, different sections on adrenal gland, on blood sugar dysregulation, both high, like insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, and low, like hypoglycemia, which both pose their own problems. I said adrenals. There are electrolytes, hormones, thyroid, stomach acidity. So there's all these different categories. And so what we do is what I've done is I put together an assessment. Basically, I give you my assessment form. I walk you through, just here on this same whiteboard, I walk you through understanding your assessment, and I draw out kind of what it means, and I have you draw and work through your findings on your assessment form with me. And then at the conclusion of that, you can kind of have a picture. Oh, hey, these are the areas where, based on this assessment form, I'm symptomatic. And then what I do is I have matched that assessment form in the categories with my own private nutritional supplementation dispensary. And you can have access, and you can go there and you can look at the supplements, and you can get supplementation that might be beneficial based on what you found. So it's more customized. It's like semi-customized. Obviously, you don't have someone sitting there working with you that has experience putting it together, but it helps you to better focus on what you might need based on your findings. So we put that together. Listen, guys, if you're interested there, you can go to like hashimotosupplements.com, and you can just you can enter, and it will take you to the site where you can download the assessment form, complete it, and then you can walk through with me on the presentation. Now, if nothing else, guys, you have that information. You can look at our supplement dispensary, and you can take that information and go get stuff wherever you want to. It doesn't matter to me at all, but I'm giving you guys some resources and some tools so that you can better help yourself. So take from it what you will, but just I want to share with you guys my approach, my framework. So okay, so at this point, what we've got is you've seen your primary care physician or endocrinologist. You have a good idea of what's happening, right? You're considering, you need to change your diet. You need to improve your diet. So what you're going to do is you consider like autoimmune paleo, or you start like a program or something like ours, and there's lots of great resources out there. You consider supplementation that could help support your healing, okay, and your improving your particular breakdown in physiology, okay, or where you're most symptomatic. And so you're doing diet plus some supplementation. Now, those are the tools that you have. Now what you need to do is you need to get organized, okay? This is really important, because this is kind of where all the stuff we talk about and all the excitement we have, actually you put it into practice. And that's where it's really, you've got to have a good idea as to what you're going to do, but you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a way to implement it, to put it into your life, to make it a reality. Or else it's just all excitement, and there's there's no follow through. So getting organized, I'm gonna step over here so you can see. So here's how I recommend that you get organized. What you do is you write down 5 reasons why you care about changing your diet, why you're doing all this. 5 reasons why you want to be better. And you know what I find? If you can't write down 5 reasons, and if some of those reasons don't make your heart beat a little heavy, guys, you haven't found the right reasons. You've got to find the reasons that make you feel it. So, for a lot of people, that is their kids, their parents, their community, they want to live a life. I mean, there's a purpose that's greater than them, okay? That they feel is greater than them, and they're committed to that. Sometimes people don't want to do it for themselves, but they'll do it for someone else. Guys, you have to write down 5 reasons why you want to be better. You have to do that. I'm telling you. And then every day you look at that and you say, you know what? I want to be healthy. I want to do this for my kids. I want to do this I want to be here for my parents as they age. And if that's not you, you find your why. Figure out why so you have that motivation. So nothing will stop you. On the days where you don't feel good and you feel bad and you feel like quitting and you feel like pulling into the fast food and getting something that's terrible for you, you have that willpower because there's a reason and you're determined. See, you just can't quit, guys. That's the main thing. You can't quit. You can't quit on yourself. And that's all too common today is that people, they just don't follow through. And you have to have a driving, motivating force that's going to get you there. I got mine, and you need to figure out yours, and that's really requires some soul searching for people. But every day I wake up and I use the 5-minute journal. I write in there the three things that I'm grateful for every day, and every day my number one is I'm thankful for the opportunity of today. I'm thankful for this opportunity to walk on this earth, to come in here and talk to you guys, just to take a breath. You guys, there's so many people that don't have the chance that you have. There's so many people that, all over this world that will never have, the opportunities that a lot of us have. And to take that for granted is really, it's unacceptable. We have to fight. You have to fight, and you have to say, you know what? I have an opportunity today. No matter how hard it is, you got an opportunity, and I'm going to give you guys everything I can possibly give you so that you can help yourself, as cheaply as possible. If you don't have anything, okay, well, I'm going to show you everything that I can possibly show you. Everything. Like, I'm not holding anything back. But you have to dig, and you have to say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. No matter what position I'm in, no matter how bad I think my life is, I got something to be thankful for. You got opportunity. There's too many people that aren't here and will never have this chance. So you got to have 5 reasons why you want to be better. Then you want to have meal plans. Like I said, these books that I mentioned are great. You can Google on Pinterest, autoimmune paleo. You can just Google, or you can go to Pinterest and search AIP meal plans, AIP food list, and you can find them. Meal plans. Then you need a schedule. Okay, here's how it works. Schedule. What do you do? What's your weekly schedule? Okay, what is your weekly schedule? Write down your weekly schedule, and if you say, you know what, I don't have the same schedule, I work different hours. Okay, no worries. What you're going to do is you're going to look at your schedule. Then weekly, if you have work different hours, if you have a set schedule, what you're going to do is you're going to look at these meal plans, and you're going to figure out how am I going to make this food, and then eat it every single day, and stay focused and make sure that I'm always prepared. How am I going to do that? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your schedule. Most people are going to batch cook on, let's say, a Sunday. Okay. And then they're going to prepare their meals, and they're going to put it in glass Pyrex containers, no plastic, okay? No plastic. Because remember, environmental chemicals, BPA, lots of different things you can react to. They're going to put it in glass containers. They're going to have their, let's say, 3 meals and 3 snacks for each day. They're going to put it into either the freezer or the refrigerator. And then every day, what they're going to do is they're going to have their Monday stuff. They're going to put it in their lunchbox. They're going to grab their freezer pack out of the freezer, put it in the lunchbox, and everything is good to go. They've got their snacks already pre-planned, so if those aren't refrigerated, you grab those, you put those in there, and you're always prepared. You've got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared. So, schedule. You schedule it. So let's say Sunday, you're going to cook for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday evening, you're going to batch cook for the rest of the week until Sunday. Okay? Or you figure out the system. If you cook every day and you can eat leftovers for the next day, as long as you're prepared and you know what you're going to do for breakfast and the meals, Whatever works for you, utilize it. But this is how you have to think about it. You got to have reasons why you want to be healthy. You need a plan, a meal plan. So if you're going to implement AIP, then you need a schedule. You need to think about your schedule. Okay? Same thing with the supplementation. So if you're going to take supplements, when are you going to take them? I've got these supplements, now what do I do with them? Well, you've got to take them, right? You've got to take them, you got to put them on a schedule, and get you a pill organizer. These are all things we talk about like in our program, but it's not, these aren't concepts that you guys can't figure out. I just, want to help you guys as much as I can. That's what we're going to do here. So I hope this is helping you guys. We've got a few more things here. So the last thing is, once you've gone through this process, right, you want to reassess your progress in like 4 to 6 weeks, just like I would do in my office, right? So in my office, I see someone, or if I'm working with a distance consulting client, we're going to take an assessment. We're going to evaluate how they're doing. We're going to use assessment forms, labs. We're going to see what's happening. And then we're going to create a plan. We create a plan based on their assessment. We're going to implement that plan for typically 4 to 6 weeks. Then we're going to follow up at 4 to 6 weeks and reassess where they are. So it's this process of, where am I? Let me put together a plan to help myself. Let me work that plan. Let me see where I'm at, and then let me refine. What you do is at this point, 4 to 6 weeks, you modify diet and supplements. You modify it so that now you're always working to reintroduce foods and taper off of supplementation. Okay, that's what you're always working to do. You're always working to just, my personal opinion is, if you're not doing things for like performance enhancement, once you get really healthy, if you wanted to, enhance performance, then you might want to consider supplementation. I take quite a few supplements because that's something that I work towards. But that's not what you have to do at all. You absolutely, though, you don't need to be taking 30 supplements every single day. Now, there are arguments for supplementation that the food is depleted of certain minerals, and I agree with that. But I don't necessarily believe that you need to take supplements every single day. Maybe you spurt dose multivitamins, you take them periodically. You can overdo anything, guys. And I'm not a huge fan of taking a lot of supplements long term. I'm not. There are cases for it, but I'm not really going to get into that right now. The main thing is, this is the framework we want to follow, right? And then we want to just go through this and consider consider all these different factors and just follow through. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Like, I can't interact with you at all because I can't see you, but maybe I can turn the camera around and talk to you guys a little bit in a second. But do you guys, what I'm going to do now is actually I am going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to see if there are any questions. All right, so I'm going to leave this here for just a second so you guys can look at it. Remember, take a screenshot on your phone, which is different for every phone, but you can take a screenshot so you can see this. You can zoom in on the picture and look at the different things that I have listed here, or just do a snippet from your computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go behind the camera. I'm going to turn it around, and we'll see. I'll take a few questions for just a little while. Okay. Hope this has helped you guys a lot. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can't help you guys out with some of your questions, okay? Hey guys, so you can see my lights and everything here are shining on me. So, okay, let's take a look and see what kind of questions we have. Was that helpful for you guys? If that was helpful, let me know. Just give me either some thumbs up or something, or just post a comment. But hopefully that was a helpful framework for you guys. Hey Alicia. Everyone say hi to Alicia. She was on here. I don't know if she still is, but Alicia is wonderful. She's a metabolic coordinator, and she knows tons about diet, way more than I do, and makes way better food than I know how to make. Johnson City. Yeah, guys, tell me where you're from too. I love to see where people are from. A lot of people may already, if you've been on here before, you've shared that with me, but I'm really curious to see where you guys are from. We had people from all over the world, Europe, Australia, that jump on here. Hey Sherry, I'm looking at your comment. Yes, you need to go. You need to go to the ER. I'm just going to tell you, you need to go get checked out. There could be a number of different things happening, but your blood pressure is too high, especially if you feel that way. Let's see. What else, guys? Let me see here. Hopefully this is helpful. Personalized program. Yeah, you guys can do. Hey, Cherie. Or is it Sherry? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. Yeah, personalized programs. This is, what I just went over with you guys is about as personalized as you can get without working with someone. Really, a lot of the things that I try to teach is how you can figure out how to help yourself. But there's only so much you can do with a program that's a general program. Most of the stuff, when we work with people, obviously that's really what we're doing. We're looking specifically at what's going on with them, and we modify diets and supplementation and everything based on those findings. Janet, sorry if you couldn't hear it. I hope there weren't a lot of audio issues with it, but there could have been because I didn't have a mic on. Okay. Let's see, what else is going on, guys? Any other questions? Great to hear, Doctor. Okay, so yeah, it is Casual Friday. Actually, no one's here but me. Alicia's probably helping you guys. I want you to know this. This is how awesome my staff are. She's at home probably, or she might be somewhere on her phone answering some questions while I'm talking to you guys. Like, I didn't ask her to do it. That's just how amazingly, lucky that I am to have people that are so committed. So yes, and so Fridays is administrative or a day off. So I'm here today, and definitely I don't like doctor wear at all. It's not me. So let's see. Okay. Yes, we've worked with people that have Graves, guys. Tina says, is the autoimmune paleo diet similar to keto? No, it's not. I mean, and technically the autoimmune paleo diet's not low carb. It's not. You can make it low carb, and a lot of people do it inadvertently. Because it removes the grains, but you can have all kinds of root vegetables. You can have gourd squash, which all those things. So sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips, beets, turnips. I mean, all these things, and then all the gourd squashes, right? So butternut squash and delicata squashes. I mean, there's tons of gourd squashes. All those, they have a lot of carbohydrates in them. So you shouldn't be low carb, but a lot of people don't make those things, or they don't eat them, so their blood sugar drops. And that's a big problem with people that go on AIP, is they don't eat enough, they don't consume enough. Because here's the deal: when you eat like the standard American diet, and you eat, there's a portion size as big as your hand, and it has like 1,500 calories. It just loads your body. It's a small portion, so it's very calorie dense. The standard American diet is very calorie dense. Now so you could take like let's say a burger, for example, and have 800 calories in a burger, and it's a small portion, right? You look at it, it's a pretty small size. If you take a cut of meat, you take vegetables, you take some fruit, and you put it on a plate, and it's even, it's going to be it's going to look like it's much larger, like it might fill the whole plate. But the calories might be, 400 calories or less. And so people have been eating with their eyes, right? And they think that they're getting the same calories. They're not. So people don't eat enough food in a lot of cases, and then they get hypoglycemic. So that's one of the potential problems. But it's not keto. You could use it as like a keto-based as a way to reach ketosis if you were going to do that, or you do a modified ketogenic diet, because it's actually very healthy, and it's full of very nutrient-dense foods. The books. I'm going to show you guys the books again. I'll show you the books here. Okay. First book, see here it's flipped, but it's Practical Paleo. Great book. We love it. The Healing Kitchen. Amazing book. We love it. There are tons of paleo books we love. The Hashimoto's Cookbook. I love it. It's another good one. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good resources out there for you guys to help you figure it out. You know, if you go through these types of processes or you're not feeling well with that approach, guys, there's probably another mechanism driving the problem, and that's where you really need to seek out, you know, maybe a functional medicine doctor or something like that. But those are great books. I hope that helped with your question. Doreen, did that help you out? I hope you saw that. AIP. Doreen, you are welcome. Lisette, I'm not sure about the L-glutamine and a fistula. I don't, you know, I would talk to the specialist about that and see what the best approach might be. Good filters. Sandra, yeah, I will. Sandra was asking, hey, will I do a video on water? Yeah, I will actually. That's something that I will do a video on that. I think that one of the things that we're finding today is that environmental chemicals are a huge problem, guys. So we've got to figure out how to get them out, you know, out of our water and out of our food. So one of the ways that we can do that is absolutely by filtering the water, and also by trying to eat and buy organic foods if possible. Now, a lot of people, I've heard people say, you know what, it's expensive to eat this way. And here's the deal. You have to be creative, but you don't, here's the thing, guys. I mean, just eating conventional fruits and vegetables and eating like real whole foods and stopping all the fast food and all the soft drinks and all the sweet tea and all that garbage and getting that processed stuff out of your diet, just eating conventional food would be a huge upgrade from the standard diet. Huge. You know, and if you're going to eat conventional, you would want to look at like the Environmental Working Group's website, ewg.org, and look at the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen list, and it gives you a list of the top 15 clean conventional foods you can buy, vegetables you can buy, vegetables and fruit you can buy conventionally, and then the Dirty Dozen are the top 12 foods you absolutely need to buy organic. And I'm going to tell you what number one is: apples. That's one of the worst ones. You need to buy organic apples. You need to buy organic celery is a must if you're going to do that. They're very, very toxic. Anything with like a soft skin, like berries, you don't want to buy conventional berries. Strawberries, do not want to buy conventional strawberries, guys. They spray them with pesticides and herbicides, right? So they kill bugs and they kill plants. How do you think those things kill? Why do you think they kill? They kill bugs and plants because they're toxins, guys. They poison the plant. They poison the bug. And when you eat them, do you think that's good for you? I'm going to say it's not good for you. That's my opinion. There's probably some study out there saying that every one of those things is fine for you, but there's probably another study saying that it's not. And I'm going to tell you that if it kills something, I don't want to eat it. So, yes, water's really important, Sandra. It's super, super important. You really need to have good filtered water, because what we're finding out is, just go to ewg.org, Environmental Working Group, and you're going to learn. You know, it's kind of like when people learn this stuff. There's no going back, guys. So it's kind of like now that you know, you feel compelled. You're like, oh my gosh, how can I not tell someone about this, or how can I continue to do this? But here's the one thing you don't want. You don't want it to create more stress, right? So just move forward with good intentions, right? And try not to be overstressed by things. Just do what you can do, and there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do with just making some minor changes, okay? Let's see. Essential oils for the thyroid. Guys, you know, I don't know much about their physiological effects. Like I really, want to give you guys stuff that. Getting a phone call. I'm going to just hide that. So I don't really know about the essential oils. I really only like to suggest and recommend things to you guys that I think, that I've learned a lot about how they support your physiology. What I don't like to do at all is say, here's a condition and here's something for that condition. I always want to say, here's the problem, the condition, what's happening with the person's chemistry, and how does this intervention help that chemistry. And I don't know that about the oils. I don't know how they physiologically affect the body. And if I don't know that, I can't recommend it. So, I would like to know good science behind it so I can recommend it. I mean, there's no doubt that they have great effects. I know that, but are they beneficial, or will it worsen the problem? Because more is not better, guys. More is definitely not better. Taking more supplements is not better. Doing more things is not better. Actually, less is more, and being more specific is the best way to do it. Hope that helps. Hey, Katie. Yes, we've worked with people in the UK. Gina, why anxiety? There's lots and lots of reasons for anxiety. I mean, there's so many reasons for anxiety that is really so complicated, or there's so many possibilities, and it's going to be unique to the individual person. I mean, one obvious thing is we deal with people that have thyroid problems, so a lot of people that have anxiety might be taking, they might have too high of a dose of thyroid hormone, and so when we run tests, a lot of times we'll see that that's occurring, and that's something that can create a problem. Other people, they're kind of stuck in this fight or flight mode where their sympathetic nervous system is constantly driving their adrenal glands to produce cortisol and adrenaline, and that's a problem, and your body can't sustain that. There's some people have they have autoimmunity that to an enzyme. Okay, they have autoimmunity. I talked about this like it was probably, I don't know, a live video I did a few days ago. But they have autoimmunity to an enzyme called GAD65, and they can't convert glutamate into GABA. And GABA's a neurotransmitter, a brain chemical, and GABA sedates and slows down the nerve cells. So if they can't do that, if they can't make GABA efficiently because of the GAD65 autoimmunity, then they may have high glutamate, which is excitatory, and that can lead to some symptoms like that. So I hope that helps. There's other reasons too. Hypoglycemia is another one, like low blood sugar. Yeah, Mickey Trescott's book is really good, Alicia. I don't see it here. Just trying to see. At least it's not back here. I'm in the back office. It's not. I don't see it back here. Hey, Bambi, I appreciate you too. Hope this is helpful. Hey, Janet. Good for you. You got access to a sauna. Wonderful. I actually used the sauna this morning for about 20 minutes. The AIP differences. I don't know that I explained the AIP differences. I explained that AIP might be a reasonable approach for people that have autoimmunity. You're welcome, Jamie. Let's see. Sorry, guys. There's so many comments. People are asking about supplementation with selenium. Selenium, we think that selenium it has some protective benefits. You have to have selenium to kind of neutralize some of the damage that can occur with Hashimoto's. So selenium, usually when I'm working with someone that has Hashimoto's, I have them, especially if they haven't done anything for it, I recommend, and I gotta look, it's like 200 micrograms or 200 milligrams, I can't remember, but it's, I think it's micrograms of selenium, minimum like 200 to 400 usually per day is reasonable. Now the multivitamin that I suggest people use that I like has a little bit of selenium in it. It has that 200 or 250, I think it's micrograms of selenium, and so they kind of, like, I like to use, like, the multivitamin that I suggest and that I use covers a lot of the bases, so they don't have to take 5 other supplements because the multivitamin does a good job covering it. What is the that website? Sharon says, what's the website? It is E as in Edward, WG.org. EWG. It's environmentalworkinggroup.org. You can just like type in Google Dirty Dozen Clean 15 and you'll see the list pop up. It's a great one. Yeah, Sandra, we can probably post the books in here. EWG does have a phone app, Alicia said, and that's really good to know. They do have an app, which is super convenient. So that's EWG, the Environmental Working Group, has an app. And guys, the EWG does a lot of stuff. I'm like, you guys really, if you want to support a group that's trying to protect and keep our environment stuff clean from all these pollutants and that's trying to educate people, EWG is a good place to go. You can also, one thing that's really cool there is you can go there and you can look at all of your cosmetics and you can, or your personal care products, and you can search them. It's a great website. Carolyn says she only drinks the Kangen water. So I think that's, or Kangen water, that's the water that's alkaline, right? So here's the thing, guys. I think that water that is too alkaline is going to be a problem, okay? So if it becomes very basic, it's going to neutralize your stomach acid, guys. Think about this for a second. You've got acid in your stomach. So they say, oh, it's going to make you more alkaline. Well, when you mix an acid and a base together, they create a salt, okay? So your stomach has hydrochloric acid. If you're drinking very basic water, right, this very alkaline water, and you mix them, it's going to neutralize your stomach acid. And how many times do you hear functional medicine, or if you've been following me, you know I'll talk about low stomach acidity as being a problem. It's a problem. You do not want to have low stomach acidity. And if you're drinking a lot of alkaline water, you could be neutralizing your stomach acid, impairing your digestion, making a lot of stuff worse. So I wouldn't want the water to be really basic, just basic enough, like maybe 7.0, something like that. There's a lot of different theories behind that, but guys, I just know that chemistry is acid and base together neutralizes it, and that stomach acid's critical. And a lot of times when I'm working with people, they've got obvious symptoms of hypochlorhydria or low stomach acid, and we're constantly trying to improve their acidity. And as soon as we get their acidity better, their digestion improves significantly. Okay. Yeah, Vicky says, what about laundry soap, body wash, shampoo, conditioner? Do they actually make autoimmunity worse? And here's the thing, we don't really know that they're going to make your autoimmunity worse, but we know that they have a lot of toxins in them, guys. Like you need to go to the EWG's website, and you can go to, they have one called Skin Deep, like I think one of the pages, and you can search all that. You just put in the exact name of your product with the fragrance and everything, and it will give you a score of 0 to 10, 10 being most toxic, 0 being the least amount of toxicity. And then you can click on it and it will break down every ingredient and show you the individual score for that ingredient. And it will also, you can also sort by things that are in that category. So if it's deodorant and you want to see like less toxic deodorants, you can just sort by that and find one that might be better for you. Let's see, Samantha. I'm not sure adrenal fatigue that I just explained. I don't think I explained adrenal fatigue, but there's a lot of this stuff that we talk about is really connected. So most of the time, if someone's having adrenal gland problems, they've got other issues as well, and there's just a lot of connections. So you've got to work on supporting a lot of their systems at once. Thomas, what's up? I hope you're still here. Good to see you, man. I see you. Thomas, I met Thomas this past weekend and had some great conversation with him. Super smart guy. Appreciate you, Thomas. I'm going to talk to everyone about the paper that you shared with me on stress and meditation. I got to send me, I can't remember the guy's name, but definitely awesome. Okay, what else here, guys? Some of your questions I can't answer because they're too complex. I'm sorry. I really would love to. But they're so deep it would require a conversation, and then even then it might require quantitative testing to give me more information so that I could give you an intelligent response. Lisa, you're welcome. Hey, April. Hey, Jackie. Okay, Jackie says, what's your view on iodine? Dun dun dun. Okay, guys, there's a lot of controversy surrounding iodine. I'm going to tell you that, so what I do is I don't recommend the high dose iodine, right? The really high dose iodine. I don't think that that's a good approach. Your body needs iodine. You need iodine. And this is, let me qualify this. Autoimmune, if you have autoimmune thyroid condition, I don't recommend high dose iodine. I think it can be dangerous. I mean, there were a lot of population studies that were done in Sri Lanka, China, Iran, all over the world, where they looked at these populations of people that had hypothyroidism, so they had low thyroid function, and they knew it was that there was iodine deficiency. So they iodized their food supply, right? Like we have it in conventional table salt. And then when they added that iodine in, wonderful things happened, right? Hypothyroidism decreased, but there was a spike in every single population of Hashimoto's. So there was this autoimmune thyroiditis that was occurring at a much greater rate once the iodine was introduced, and that was the only thing changed in the population. So we know that it can be a trigger for autoimmune thyroid conditions. And there's probably more to it, like, maybe they were deficient in things like selenium and other minerals that had a protective effect. But there's also been research done where people that had Hashimoto's, they specifically restricted iodine. Like they intentionally said, no iodine, let's do low iodine. And they had improvement in their autoimmunity, and it was clinically significant. Some people, like I heard Dr. Karazian, if you guys don't know Dr. K, you should know Dr. Karazian. He is the thyroid authority. He's the guy I've learned most of my work from, most of what I teach you guys. Dr. Karazian, I heard him lecturing once, and he was talking about this exact topic. And he basically said this. He said the use of iodine in a clinical setting is contraindicated, meaning you don't do it. And he cited tons of literature. If you don't know Dr. Karazian, he is ultra, every single thing he does is highly referenced. Like every course he's created, every single book he's written is extremely, and he's extremely well respected. He teaches for the Institute for Functional Medicine. He's created numerous courses for Apex Energetics. He's created tons of courses on his own. He's a Harvard researcher right now. The guy is highly respected. He cares about people, and he only wants to give you information that's going to help you. And so I just want to share with you guys, like, I'm not a fan of iodine. Now, I will tell you this. I think that at doses that are probably like 250 micrograms, like you might get in a multivitamin, as long as you have some selenium with it, are probably okay. I think that's probably okay. I think it's when you get these higher doses that are like very, very high in the milligrams, I believe, it's much more significant at that point, and it can be a bigger problem. And some people say, I feel great when I take it. And there's a lot of different reasons why that might be. But I'm just going to tell you that from the literature, my experience, the people that I've learned from, high-dose iodine with Hashimoto's is not the way to go. But if you're not autoimmune and there's cystic issues, I've heard that it can do wonders for you. Okay? So iodine's not a bad thing. It's just controversial as far as the doses and things that we should do with it, how much we should take. Let's see, what else? 28. Samantha was asking about, vitamin D. She said her blood work showed that it was D3 was 28, and her doc said it should be 60. And I would agree that it should be higher, for sure. I mean, the lab range in the U.S. that I commonly see is 30 to 100. We shoot for the top third of that range is to where we want to get people, and that's so that we have better T cell production, regulatory T cell production. Vitamin D helps with regulatory T cell production, so it helps balance the immune system. So yeah, supplements that I recommend, I like sublingual vitamin D. So it's a dropper, and it's you got to think about this. Vitamin D is fat soluble, right? So you've got vitamins A, D, E, and K that are all fat soluble. They have to be absorbed with fat. Now, a lot of people take tablets that don't have any fat in them. They swallow them. They have poor digestion, low stomach acidity. They have poor enzyme release, and they just pass it out. So they wonder, I've been taking 50,000 units per week, and my vitamin D is still low. Absolutely. So what I like is sublingual, so that it's vitamin D. It is mixed with a medium chain triglyceride, so a fat that helps with absorption. Drop it under your tongue, and it absorbs through the lymphatics, bypasses the GI tract. It's much faster, much more effective, we found, especially if they're digestive issues, guys. Let's see. Guys, there's so many comments. Sorry if I'm not answering them. I'm not ignoring you. Best way, so Katie says, hey, what's the best way to control levels yo-yoing with Hashimoto's and Graves, like up and down? Guys, that is the best way. Shortest answer is, in similar cases that I've seen, it is addressing the autoimmunity, trying to dampen the autoimmune process. Because the reason for the yo-yoing is typically because there is an autoimmune attack against, like let's say for Hashimoto's, for example. You have an autoimmune flare, the immune system attacks the enzyme TPO or the protein thyroglobulin inside the cells of the thyroid, destroys some of the cells spill their contents into the bloodstream. What do the cells contain? The cells contain thyroid hormone. So there's a spike in thyroid hormone due to cellular destruction here. So it spikes the thyroid hormone, can create hyper symptoms. If you go get your levels checked by your doctor, your TSH might be suppressed. And let's say a month goes by, you go in and you're not during an active autoimmune attack, and you're actually hypo or lower function. Your TSH is high again. Look, guys, if you have Hashimoto's, you have Graves, you can go a lot of times to the doctor every single month, and if they check TSH over and over, it's different every time, and it's not consistent. That's because there's something that's causing it to fluctuate, and that is an active autoimmune attack and response. Hope that helps. Let's see, what else? Deb says, hey, what's the name of the vitamins you use? Deb, I use, I don't know, probably 10, 15 different brands. There's a lot of different brands, so there's not like a best brand. I do suggest that you only get supplements that are tested. Typically, the manufacturer is tested, or the supplier of the raw materials. They have testing, and then when the raw materials get to the manufacturer, they formulate and then they test their supplement for chemicals, metals, all the things that we would want out, we wouldn't want in there, and for consistency. So I typically only use supplements that are physician only, that are very, very good quality. But I mean, there's a lot of different ones. I mean, if you want to see the supplements that I use, you can go to HashimotosSupplements.com, like that website that I have, and you can just put in your email, and it will take you to you can actually click on a link on that page that will take you to my private nutraceutical dispensary, and you can just create an account, free account. You can look at it, and you can look at everything that I have in there that I recommend. So you can definitely do that. Doreen, I try to be down to earth. I really do. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be me. If people don't like it, then I'm not for you, and I don't mean that in any negative way. But, we have to all choose who we listen to and who we're going to spend our time with. I just choose not to come in here and be someone I'm not. Gallstones. Suzanne says, I have antibodies to my thyroid, low B12, low vitamin D, and have gallstones. What's the best vitamins? Suzanne, it's a tough one. Like I would, in a similar case, what I might consider like going on an autoimmune paleo diet, watching your fats very closely. Higher fats, so a lot of people have heard about ketogenic diets lately, where it's like a high fat diet where your body shifts to burning ketones for energy versus sugar, basically. And those diets are contraindicated, meaning you don't do them if you have gallstones or gallbladder issues, because what stimulates the gallbladder to contract is going to be fat that you consume. So if you're having problems and you have gallstones, we've seen in similar cases that people respond well to what are the different herbs that we use? I use products that have blends that help with bile flow. It helps to thin the bile. I'm trying to think of what it is right now. I can't think off the top of my head for some reason of what the compound is, but it's supplements that actually help improve bile flow. I can't believe I can't think of it, but it'll come to me in a minute, Suzanne. Low B12. I mean, in similar cases, I would supplement with B12. If you have low B12, there might be an absorption issue. Having low vitamin D at the same time, there's probably an absorption issue. And think about this for a second, right? I mentioned earlier, vitamin D is fat soluble, meaning vitamin D absorbs with fat. What does your gallbladder do? Your gallbladder releases bile salts that emulsify or break down fats so you can absorb it through your small intestine. So if you have problems with your gallbladder and you can't get enough bile salts out, and fat comes in with vitamin D, you're going to have a poor release of bile salts, you're going to have poor absorption of vitamin D, and it's just going to pass on out. So it's really important that you kind of understand, like, this is why we always have to think through and not just sit here and say, I've got this, what's the best supplement? That's green medicine. What we want to do is we want to be better physiologists. We want to say, all right, what's the physiology that's occurring, the body's chemistry? Where's it breaking down? How can we best support it? Because green medicine is I mean, it might help, but it's, I've seen a lot of people that it's failed with, and it can waste a lot of time and a lot of money doing that. Suzanne, with gallstones as well, in similar cases, drinking plenty of water helps to thin the bile as well. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. I really, it's more complicated, more complex. Hey, Natalie. Natalie says, hey, what's the difference between active B12 and B12? Okay, so active B12 is basically going to be methyl, like a methylcobalamin. It's going to be a methylated form of B12. And that's really important because a lot of people have a genetic issue called, it's a genetic single nucleotide polymorphism. It's called a SNP, S-N-P. And it's a gene uniqueness that basically can decrease your ability to make an enzyme, the MTHFR enzyme, okay? Methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase, okay? It is a mouthful. But what happens is that you have, if you have some of these genetic, like the MTHFR, SNP, and you're homozygous or heterozygous, it means you're going to have a decreased capacity, usually, to make that enzyme, so you can't convert B12 into the methyl form. And that can create tons of problems for methylation and liver detoxification, and it's just a big, big issue. So one of the things that we do is we take methylcobalamin. Like, we just go ahead and take the methylated form, bypass the SNP so that you can you can absorb it and you can use it. Okay, so that's one of the differences right there. Okay, let's see. I gotta laugh at some of the comments. Okay. Yeah, Roxanne. Oh. The funny thing about these live videos, you guys ever gone on Facebook Live? You can go on there and you can actually just look all over the country, and you'll see where someone's like broadcasting a live video, and you can just click on it. And you can watch whoever's there, and they can absolutely say anything they want to say. Karazian. All right, so Sharon, spell Karazian. Let me show you. It is Karazian. Datis. It's you would think it's Datis. A lot of them call him Datis. It's not. D-A-T-I-S. Datis. Karazian. K-H-A-R-R-A-Z-I-A-N. Great guy. Okay. Guys, I just have a little bit longer. I don't have that much more time. You're welcome. Appreciate you guys too. I appreciate everyone on here but Frog. Oh, come on, man. Seriously. All right, so let's see. What we'll do, guys, is let's go ahead and wrap this one up today. And if you guys have any questions, let us know. Appreciate you a lot. If you don't mind, guys, people who don't know about this information, please do help us get the word out. Share it if you would. Give me some hearts and some love, and I really appreciate you guys. I'll keep recording these videos and sharing them with you. If you guys have questions or anything, just let us know. But do appreciate you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to everyone, but I really appreciate you on here and all of your interest, and hopefully it helps you guys out. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great